That was the biggest surprise. When we started this, we thought we're going to be talking to the parent, and the parent is going to buy this for the kid and bring it to the kid. And we were wrong on all accounts. So it turns out a bunch of these kids, they are all on Instagram. They are avid researchers. They search for these sort of things, and they might bring it to their parents like, hey, I want this. Please buy it for me, or...
Welcome to the DTC Insider podcast, where online business owners come to find actionable tips and tactics to grow their businesses. Now, here's your host, Brian Roisentul.
Hey, welcome to another episode. I'm Brian Roisentul, your host, and I'm super excited to interview Corina Pfeffer today. She's a co-founder of Pipa Skin Care, a skincare brand made for tweens. Along with her two childhood friends, Laura and Christina, she built Pipa from a real-life need. Safe skincare that preteens actually want to use. In just 1 year, they have hit milestones they never expected, selling in every U.S. state and growing an organic community of over 60,000 followers on Instagram. But scaling fast comes with its own set of challenges. That's why in today's episode, we'll talk about how they grow without ads, the power of organic marketing, and what they are learning about customer retention. Hey, Corina, thanks for being on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So why don't you start by telling the audience more about Pipa Skin Care?
Of course. So Pipa Skin Care, actually my co-founder Christina came up with the idea. She's an esthetician, so she knows ingredients. She knows skin very, very well. She's also a mom of tweens and teens. And pre the whole Sephora Kids things, over a year before that, she already noticed that her daughter, niece, friends all wanted skincare, and everything they would ask for because it looked pretty, it looked cool, or they would see it on TikTok or Instagram. When she turned it around, read the ingredients, she was like, no way. You are not using this. You're going to ruin your skin. And she saw that with her kid's friends, even with some of her clients' kids, they would tell her the same thing. So she had the idea of like, what if we create something that bridges the gap? So it's safe for kids, but it is cool enough that they will want to use it, because that's a tricky thing. We know those brands that have been out there forever that are super safe that all of us used when we were kids. But if as a mom of a tween, so 9 to 14-year-olds, you bring that to your kid, they're like, no way, you don't know anything. I don't want to use that. That's boring. So trying to bridge that gap, she came up with this idea, and her, Glenn, myself, we know each other since we were kids back home in Venezuela. And yeah, she brought the idea to us, and the three of us started this whole adventure together.
Yeah, nice. As I was telling you offline, I do have, twins, 5-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, and the boy too. Why not? Both of them, like, they see their mom and they want to use makeup, and it's like, what do we tell them? It's like, yes, no, we do the same. We read the ingredients, and it's like, no. So we get a few of, like, I don't know, non-branded, let's say, but safe for kids makeup. It's like, is it okay? So we're not sure. So it's definitely, there's a gap in the market for this. So it's great that you're doing something about it.
Thank you. Yeah. And the gap is, there are safe products, but then they tend to be more for small children and babies. So 9 and 11-year-olds who act as if they were 15 and 17, because they always want to act older and aim to be older, then look at those and are like, no, that's for babies. And that is what we would consider safe for them using. So that's what we found that was missing.
And for everyone listening to this or watching this, saying, hey, I can solve a problem too in a different industry, vertical or whatever. How can I go from, the idea to manufacturing something I have no idea how to?
Yes, that is an excellent question. I think one of the key benefits to our team, Cristi, Clary, and I, is that each of us have different areas of expertise. We trust each other, and each of us can tackle a part of the business on our own. We are all open to learning. We didn't know about manufacturing before. But that was all just having the drive of wanting to do it and wanting to find out how to do it. We are completely bootstrapped. We haven't raised any investment. So we have to literally do whatever we can with mostly our time as an investment. So being open to move fast, to learn fast, and to get people to join you in this who are experts in their area, I think that's key. I think that was key for Christina bringing us on. Clara used to work at Meta, a growth marketer. She also led very successful startups back home in Venezuela. And I am a mathematician turned web designer. So I could tackle all of that part, all of the design, all of the website. So just having a team you can trust who is willing to learn and fail fast and improve and keep going from there. And nowadays you can research almost anything. It's just daring to try to do it.
Yeah, a scrappy team, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So one question I wanted to ask you is regarding the target audience, because we are targeting underaged. So people, under 14, under 12, right? More or less. So you target their parents, or do you target them, and how?
Yeah, so that was the biggest surprise. So of course, when we started this, we had our set of assumptions, right? We thought probably these kids are mostly on TikTok, and the parents, like us, we're millennials, are probably on Instagram. We're going to be talking to the parent, and the parent is going to buy this for the kid and bring it to the kid. That was our assumption in the beginning. And we were wrong on all accounts. So it turns out a bunch of these kids, they are all on Instagram. They are avid researchers. They search for these sort of things, and they might bring it to their parents like, hey, I want this. Please buy it for me. Or they have their babysitting money, their allowance, their savings, whatever, and then they use them to buy these products. So it does happen, but it's rare that the parent just by themselves is like, oh, I wonder what I can get my kid skincare wise. It's more the kid who brings it to them. And turns out they are on Instagram. A bunch of them are on Instagram. And their friends, yes, which shocked us because our kids are not.
Right.
So I have an 11-year-old, a 9, and a 5-year-old. My kids don't even have a phone. My co-founder, her kids don't even her tween doesn't have Instagram either, or TikTok. So we weren't expecting that. And turns out that they are online. They do have Instagram, and they follow brands, and they connect. And once they see another kid using something or sharing about something, they just join in. And that's how we have grown.
So what was your strategy there? Messaging wise, do you address kids knowing they are there? Do you address parents knowing that they need to, commit to or to agree before buying these? Or do you do both? How do you manage that?
Yeah, so we try to do both. We do a lot of testing, especially with our website. And like our first tagline was, what was it? I think it was skincare, tweens 11 months trust. And then we tested it versus skincare that won't break you out, and the won't break you out severely outperformed the other one. When we see the purchases are made by parents, clearly with a credit card. So it's doing the end purchase. But what resulted better was talking to the tweener in the language for the tweens, even if the parents were the ones making the purchase. So that is what has given us the biggest results. We sent PR boxes to a whole bunch of tweens, and they took videos, posted it. We sent a form for the parents to authorize. We have an ambassador program, and your parent has to authorize, and you have to be over 13. And we're parents. So
right.
We take all the precautions that we would like to be taken if it were our kids. We are also like on top of our Instagram and blocking people all the time and removing comments. And we protect those kids as if they were our own. But yeah, talking to them is how we've really been able to break through. And at the same time, you don't have to talk down to them. Like they act and they want to be treated as if they were teens. Right. So it's not the same as trying to talk to a 5-year-old.
My 5-year-old wants to be treated as if they were twins. So yeah, I am
exactly.
It gets worse.
It gets more fun. I do have to say.
For sure. So this is a great example to illustrate something we've been talking about on the podcast, and it's basically the importance of, let's say, message diversification, right? Both for organic and for ads, because it's one, like the message is one, regardless of the context. In this case, it could be very similar. So in this case, you're talking to kids, but kids care about something and parents care about something else. Probably correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe it's my assumption and I might be wrong for sure. But I imagine as a parent, as a father, that I care about for my kids, let's say safety and many other things related to that. And probably my kids care about it being cool or looking great on them, right? So probably if you talk to a kid about the safety stuff, it will be boring. But if you talk about the parent about the cool stuff, it'll be uninformative for them. So how do you handle all of that?
I get that with certain things comes to mind, like food or something else, that might be the case. As I said, these kids are incredibly savvy and they don't want to ruin their face. And they have heard everything that can go wrong. And like I said, skincare that won't break you out, for example, was a huge
Right.
success as a tagline for us because they don't want breakouts. They don't want to go to school with their face all red or swollen or peeling or anything that can happen with adult skincare. It's not something like, oh, this is a risk for you down the line when you're an adult. That's super boring. They don't want to know that. But because the possible adverse consequences are so immediate, they do care about that. And they're starting to care about those things. Fortunately, it's out there. Other brands are too. There was this brand who had to come out with a whole campaign like, this is not made for kids under 12, because a lot of kids were using the product. So they are aware of that. And the part of it being cool and looking cool, it's like the product speaks for itself. The experience, we're very big on experiences.
Look at the website. It's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. And the products, they are super high quality. They are beautiful. If you look at them and you feel them and you try the product itself or the packaging, it looks and feels like high-end adult skincare. So that kind of speaks for itself. There's an experience to it. Our bundle comes in a beautiful box with stickers, with a handwritten note, with a whole bunch of things that the kids appreciate because they feel like, whoa, I got something like the grown-ups or big kids or teens do. So that part, we don't really have to talk about it much. We just have to show it. And then the safety, they do care. This is a different generation. I feel like ours maybe wouldn't have cared. At least I can speak for myself. We would do on Twitter ourselves, whatever it was, and we didn't know. But they are, I can say for like my kid, she's very picky. Like, is this going to do something to me? Is this going to ruin my, like, they know and they care.
I want to go more in depth on the content strategy. Like, you are present on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and anything else.
Social media wise, not that. Email marketing on our website, Amazon.
So those 3 channels, how many times a week do you post? What kind of content? I mean, we discussed a little bit of the kind of content for kids, but do you plan out the content about X topic ahead and then Y topic ahead and Z topic ahead? And do you post different content for TikTok and for YouTube? Do you do anything with influencers? All of that.
All of that. Okay. So since it's our anniversary this month, since it's only been a year and we are a team of 3, it's been a lot of like everything we do, trial and error and trying to see what sticks. And it also, of course, shows that we are an Instagram using generation as millennials. So that is easier for us. That comes more naturally. So on Instagram, we don't have a very strict strategy. It more so goes along with whatever we are launching or pushing at the moment, or common questions that come up from our customers. Then we try to address that with a post, that sort of thing. But it's mostly showing the product. And since we send PR and also anyone who purchases the boxes, everything, like, share it to social media if you want. And the kids are so excited to show it and to be featured. We share a bunch of those too, because I feel it's important to them to see another kid that like them, who is not acting, who's not a huge influencer, just showing what they are using. So we share a bunch of those too, and we feature our products. But honestly, it's still so much trial and error that there's not like a set content calendar like we would have for email, for example, that we have much more structured. But social media, it changes with what we see that they need and they want. We're constantly there, constantly reading what they like and what they're interacting with, and then how we can get the message across. I don't know. So it's our sunscreen and there is a song and dance that's really in. We're like, okay, let's make sure to put in the message of like 100% mineral sunscreen that's like great for your skin, doesn't leave a white cast, is very important and safe. And let's do it with the fun song that is in today and will be out tomorrow. That's the thing. It's so quick and the trends change so quickly. that we're kind of always on there. We attempt to post every day,
Okay.
either something that comes from us or from our followers. So they invite us to collaborate and we share that. But we attempt to be there every day.
And when you say content coming from us, is it one of you, like the three founders, going on camera and recording something, or is it content
Yes. Which is funny, like on my personal Instagram, which is private, but it's mostly like my kids. You will rarely see me in a picture. And now I've had to like get on camera and talk about my products, which is entirely out of my comfort zone. But whatever it takes for our brand. The one who does it the most is Christy. She takes the lead on that most. We do it sometimes. We also, like, our kids, fortunately so far, happily participate. So we will also do that. Head outside, make a bunch of videos, things like that. To try
ask for commission in return? Your kids?
No, they have like, what if? Yeah, they have asked when they don't want to do it. Like, well, how about? Okay, fine. Whatever is needed. But most of the time, they're just happy to do it because we don't do that all the time. I guess if they would get tired of it eventually, they have all the free Pipa products they want already. So yeah, but we do that with TikTok. We've tried a bunch of different things, and sometimes, honestly, we post the same thing. Sometimes it's the same video on TikTok on Instagram, and they perform very similarly, which I know there are conflicting opinions on that. If like videos should be entirely different per social media channel. But at the same time, as we are learning until we have more data, we'll just keep doing that and then seeing what works best on one channel versus the other.
Yeah. So on that, I think there are different opinions, and in the end, we are in a very, in a let's say vertical. When we talk about marketing, we can measure things these days. So it's more about your strength, like math and measuring stuff, than an art. Of course, there's an art to it as well, because you post one thing and it doesn't perform, and then you post another thing that you don't think will perform and performs very well and even goes viral.
100%.
This all the time. So you cannot predict. But I have met through this podcast clients at the agency and all over the place really that they do 8, 9 figures. So they are not starting out, definitely. Some of them, they do a specific content for each platform, and some of them like the opposite, and both do well. Very, very, like one of them I'm talking about is 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and on the other channels, a similar, following count. So they know what they're doing, and they replicate content for shorts, let's say on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
But
exactly. For shorts, with YouTube, for shorts. And we have to be scrappy. There's 3 of us. We don't have time to have 3 separate strategies.
Exactly.
And we'd rather have something out there than have nothing at all. So
well, the fact that you're a small team makes it easy for you to choose one thing to focus on each of them. Right? So focus is one key thing that many brands need to learn, because you started a year ago, more or less. It's going to be your anniversary soon, right? Many brands that started, I don't know, longer, or like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or even 3 years ago, they started at a special moment of the e-commerce industry, let's say the post-pandemic. So it was the golden days, over hiring people, overspending money. Top line revenue was the buzzword, and profits, who knows what that means. So now things have changed, and many say, and I think that in 2024, there was an inflection point, and it was like the culmination of the valley, and everything is going up, hopefully. So teams will win the day, because you don't have high fixed cost structure, and you can focus on one thing because that's what you can handle.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're also, like I said, the type of learning fast. And if you don't put something out there, you will never learn. And we are open to learning and things changing. As long as they go with our core values, we will stick to them or change our path. And if we don't try, if we wait to have the perfect strategy for TikTok, the perfect strategy for you, then it's never going to happen. And that when you start, it's too late and you're way behind. So that has been our mentality.
That there was one client, I shouldn't be able, probably shouldn't say these, but there was, without names, a client at my agency that hired, let's say, fractional CMO, and I'm still waiting for them to deliver the plan since September 24th.
Oh, wow.
So it's like the like we all should have a plan, but we need to be faster, more agile, and not like waiting for things. So I wanted to ask you next about social commerce. I know you've been playing around with it, and you are, on TikTok Shop specifically talking about that. So how are you doing there? Because I know it's a hit or miss for many brands out there.
Yeah, on TikTok Shop, we do get orders from there constantly. It is not our biggest channel. So our biggest channel is our website, and it's gone well, especially considering that it's not our biggest following either, a
Right.
TikTok Shop, but it certainly is practical, and they have a lot of discounts and days when there is free shipping and that is attractive for our customers. At the same time, TikTok Shop is a lot of trial and error. TikTok is a lot of trial and error with very little support. So it's like we have things there. They keep selling there. Great. It's connected to our Shopify. So it's not an additional, we do the fulfillment. We don't do fulfillment through them. So it's not like Amazon where we have to send a whole batch and then they fulfill. So it's very easy for us just to be present. And if people want to buy that way, we're not going to limit the ways or the channels where they can get our products, but we don't have a very special strategy besides posting and linking our products in our posts and promoting even on Instagram when we have discounts on TikTok Shop. Then we will let them know and people will go there and buy it.
Do you sell through your own post or do you sell through affiliates or creators posts?
So yeah, we've done the creator route. We have, if I'm not mistaken, because that is not one of my areas, is TikTok Shop. I don't manage it, but I think we have it paused at the moment. Because we did do it, but at the same time, because we are scrappy, because we're a small team, if something we do, we don't see a big impact and it's a cost of opportunity, then we will pause that. So we pause that. And for example, we're testing out LTK right now. So we're doing stuff with LTK and with influencers on Instagram, seeing how that's going so we can kind of measure and see. I mean, we would love to be on every possible program, every single channel, but it all has its costs and you need in not only investment, time.
Yeah.
Which
You
is
just mentioned Amazon. What are you doing on that?
so on Amazon, we're increasingly doing more, but we're not doing everything that needs to be done and can be done. Funny enough, we sent our products, we added our products in November and we sold out very, very quickly. And when I tell you we didn't even have A+ content till like 2 weeks ago, I'm not lying. Like we didn't have A+ content. We only had the pictures and the description and the products were there and that was it. But because people know the brand and they will always, especially if they have Prime, they will try to go and see if it's on Amazon. They were clearly looking for Pipa Skin Care on Amazon because if you would have put like Tween cleanser or moisturizer or whatever, we are like number, I don't know, 100,000. I don't know what level of page. Like we are not at the top because we haven't done ads. We haven't done SEO for it. We didn't have A+ content. We didn't have our store. None of that because of the same time. They finally got our products in November and it was Black Friday. And we all in this world know how that time of the year is for e-commerce. So we just were like, okay, it's there. So if someone looks for it on Amazon, they won't be disappointed. They will find it. But that's about it. And it sold out. It went great. And we sell there every day. And now we do have our store and we have A+ content, but even like the basic one, not even the premium one, because we just added it. But we haven't done ads on Amazon, but that's kind of our next step to try to grow it even more. So yeah, we're learning a lot about that channel as well. But we were also lucky enough because Amazon is not easy to navigate. And we were in the hours of Amazon Seller University looking at videos and a manager from Amazon for the beauty space contacted us. I think sales manager, I can't remember the actual role, but contacted us like, do you want help? And we can help you like get on Amazon and clear all your doubts. And that really helped a lot. So any question we had, they answered and that helped it move along faster than it would have if it would have just been like us watching videos and trying to figure it out.
Nice. So talking about you mentioned briefly the master program that you have. How is that going? Like, how do you manage that? Is it yielding results? How many masters do you have? Are you looking to grow in it?
Yeah, so we're looking to refine it. We do have it, and at the same time, most of the have rules around it. You have to be over 13, parent consent. There's a whole thing because a lot of the kids want to be ambassador. They have like a special discount to get the products, and then they have a code, and if they share it, so they are. I mean, we have a lot of them, but of course, a lot of kids who join the ambassadors, they're on Instagram and they have maybe like 10 viewers, so they're not going to see huge results. But for us, it's still worth it. We still want for them to share everything that's good about our brand. So it does help with sales. We don't attribute that much to it, but it does help with communicating about our brand and with them being excited and belonging. We hopefully, as we grow and we have more time, we're able to nurture those relationships better and have them participate more. Like right now, what they can do is share a code. So it's not really a huge part of it, even though, I mean, they love it. They love being part of it and being a Pipa ambassador and sharing their code, but it's not a huge revenue source for us at the moment. We do have some affiliate links with the LTK, stuff like that. Those are different because those are people who do that professionally. So it's a little different.
Yeah, I think that the big thing for kids is not only their online presence, but the offline relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, classroom friends, club friends, like many people they know and they talk about what they believe is cool because that makes them cool and what they like. They are telling everyone about it. And of course, if they are into it, giving them their code, even if it's offline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I know how that works in 2025. To be honest, no, I don't have kids that old yet, but I believe that that's how it worked when I was younger, which is a long time ago.
Exactly. Yeah, they tell their friends, and that is how it all starts to grow from there. So it's become a very well known amongst the kids brands and all through them.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you about retention, is a few things, but the first one is messaging. We were talking about organic content before, and we discussed that you address kids and as well as parents, but mainly in the language that kids will understand as well and can consume. But then when they pay, it's their parents.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have the parents' email address, not the kids.
Mm-hmm.
You change the approach there because I can imagine that it's different than talking to kids on social. And now you're talking to not the consumer, but the parent of the consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have on our sign up form, we recently added a question of if they were purchasing for themselves or for their kid, to gain more knowledge. And it's funny because it's pretty balanced and it's hard to gauge because sometimes the kid will go into the website, the code, give it to the parent purchases. And we see that with emails. Right. We send emails and they're like, oh no, my mom already got this for me. Thank you. Okay. So it's kind of a mix. And the retention part, Fred, that is actually one of the reasons that this year we want to focus on being in more retail spaces and more in person, because we feel like that lowers the barrier to replenish your stock of whatever you have. Also, kids, there are kids who use everything very diligently, and there are kids that are super excited, but they might forget, and the moisturizer might last them 2 months, 3 months, and then there are kids, like our own kids, where it barely lasts a month. So it's a little bit hard, but what we've heard is once they run out, they want more. And yeah, that's one of the things we are working on this year. So making sure it's easy and it makes sense for parents. That's why we wanted to have a very fair price point, considering the high quality of the products. We didn't want it to be anything out of reach because we do believe it's honestly the best for them. And we want, when they run out, for them to purchase it again. That's something we're working on with our emails, incentivizing them to get more, and yeah, just trying to test which ways it would make more sense for them to replenish. And we know that probably seeing the products in person in one of those retailers would be an easy no-brainer. You're shopping for a bunch of other things and you see your kid's face wash and you just pick up another one. It's much of a lower barrier than going into a specific website and getting it.
Maybe what I'm going to say is a good idea, or maybe it's not. Chances are that it's the latter. So it's probably not a good idea, but I'll tell you, and then you will decide, of course. Any brands, what they do, is they have an app. Now, first off, app these days could be with some tools out there. I only know one that is the best of the best, so I won't mention them. It'll be offline. But basically, there are no code apps. You can be set up in, I think, in a few days, they'll help you set up. And the app is actually not a copycat of your website. It's not another shop on the app. It's actually to complement the website, not to replace it. So basically, let's say a use case scenario for retention. In your space, in your vertical, skincare, you have, I don't know, the night routine, the daily routine, the whatever routine. They look for night, they look for the day. Of course, if it's for kids, they look for, I don't know, the school, they look for summer camp, they look for whatever, So you add content that is engaging with them. Again, not sure if it will work for kids, but for let's say, yeah, let's say for all people, let's say not all the above 18, that's what it's meant to me. It works very, very well. Supplement brands use it, skincare brands use it because you can actually see a lot of things that give you information, engage you. Sometimes it uses gamification, like, I don't know, kids love this. Is like, well, they play games, so it's probably right. So if you reach a different level, or you get points, or you get whatever, so that's probably something to keep them engaged and help them use the products. Maybe
no, that's super interesting, and it's been like I have some of those with some brands when they have like special discounts if you get it through the app and if you participate with the app, and all of that is fascinating. It's fascinating, and I've noticed just as a consumer, I have noticed that there are more brands offering that sort of thing, and it's really interesting. And it's something that is worth exploring, kind of like everything when we have the time.
Yeah.
And capacity to explore, because the thing, and we talk about this a lot in our meetings. I mean, we're talking to each other all day since we open our eyes till we go to sleep, the three of us. But when we officially meet all the time, we're always saying like, it's actually a great thing that we still have so much to do in all of the channels we're in, that we haven't really like ran out of ideas, or ran out, like the only thing we don't have is the time to do everything right now. Also, I don't think it's wise to do everything at the same time. But what I mean is like, we haven't gone to the end of our rope and be like, and now what? Now we don't know what else to do. Like, we know everything that's left to do. Like I think we talked before, we haven't done ads. We've done like very short stints of trials with ads, but then they were super expensive, and to do them right, which like Clara, my co-founder, knows very well, that is her bread and butter, and that is her expertise, for it to be worth it, it takes investment in time and in money. And we're getting such good results with organic that we're like, okay, not right now. Let's invest that time and that money in other things. So fortunately, we have like a lot of different things to try and experiment with and see what sticks, or what sticks for the moment, because everything changes. I mean, that's something that we are very open to. How everything changes, and we're open to that. And as you saw, like one day you had TikTok, one day you didn't, then you did again.
You will have an easier time to adopt than these older brands, more experienced brand, more established brand, because they are one slower. Second, they are reluctant sometimes to change. And you are scrappy. You were born just a year ago, so you're saying, hey, we test this, we test that. You're having some momentum and some success on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. You have a product that, people want. But, you have these, big goal for 2025, and correct me if I'm wrong, to, improving, retention, to helping kids use it more often, or that's what I guess, right? So I think that choosing these one or two things to focus on in 2025 and to go all in on those are good. That's why I was suggesting the app, because I know it was a big thing for 2025. Yeah. Of course, the app is one of the many things that needs to be done to improve retention, but I think it's something to engage with them online, regardless of your online efforts that you're curious to explore this year, right?
Yes, absolutely. One of the ways that we are trying to achieve retention as well is by innovating and having more products and more fun experiences that even combine some of the products we already have and they might need to replenish, but them getting something extra. getting something new, getting something added to that routine. Like last year, by the end of last year, was that we finally launched our sunscreen. So now having the opportunity to get that along with some of the other well-loved products that you have already tried also makes you repurchase, but then you're in that same purchase getting these other new ones that also contribute to your routine. So that's another strategy we have.
Yeah. So one of the last questions I have for you is, given that it's going to be the first anniversary for you, first off, what was some of the let's say the biggest lesson you learned in this first year? And based on that, what would be your advice to new founders, even earlier in your journey or about to start, to help them probably open their eyes in something that was eye-opener to you as well?
Yeah, there are many, of course, in our first year. But I would say the biggest one is just test and learn and be open to changing everything as long as your core values are held like really strongly. So we know we're here to have fun, or we have honesty above all as one of our core values, and approachability is another one, being a very approachable brand, being cool and fun. Like those are part of our DNA. So we will always be those. But besides that, we test and learn and edit and change. There were things we were offering that weren't working. We changed them. We joke, like sometimes our favorite photo that with the three of us, we love that picture. When we do A/B testing with the website, is outperformed by another one we don't love as much. Like, okay, we're going with the one that performs better. I don't care that it's not my favorite picture. It performs better. So being open to that and not being stubborn is something that we learned last year and that has served us really well. And it's the same thing that I would recommend to anyone. Besides finding excellent co-founders to work with, it would be that. Just moving fast and learning and accepting that assumptions are that. They're assumptions, and not being stubborn and sticking with something that isn't working and just trying to shift and figure out what works, even if it might not be your favorite thing.
Yeah. I think we have all been in love with our idea in our lives. I've been many, many times. And sometimes you are like defensive. It's like, it's my baby. It's like, don't say bad things about it. And then you grow up and you learn and you realize that maybe you should be, as you said, committed to your mission, to your vision, to, being, let's say, to doing right for your core values, but not about not being stubborn or in love with your packaging or with the exact formula or with your website or with it's like those things are important, but in the end, your customers are the ones who are going to help you give you the voice to to how to tell what you want to tell, to what they care about. Like there are many well-known examples. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like Instagram wasn't born as the platform we know.
Oh yeah.
Like taking a photo was just the many features they had and so many other apps we know these days. So being flexible and trying to deliver one thing, like the MVP, whatever the minimum viable product to your customer, for those who are not familiar with the term, and see how they react and iterate on that. I internally, as a team at my agency, for example, whenever we design an SOP, I tell my team, don't think about it as the version of the SOP, and then if it doesn't work, it's wrong. Version number 1, thinking about an iteration, right? Version number 3, who cares, right? It's not the same with the product version, with the packaging, with the website, with everything. The important is that you serve your customers with what you wanted to serve them with, and for them to like it, right, and give you positive feedback.
No, absolutely. And as I said, like as long as you're sticking to your core values, as long as you listen to your customers, you give excellent customer service. That's another thing that I am super proud of. That is something we have gotten praised for a lot. Like, you're the best brand that has given me customer service ever, even when something has gone wrong with their package or some things go wrong when you have thousands and thousands of orders, and they being happy with that. You're like, okay, I might have to change something. I might have to change my packaging, change how it's said, how I say something, but I'm still delivering what I'm here to deliver. That is an excellent experience with an excellent product. So who cares if they like a picture that I don't like, or if I had to change the messaging or change the design on a website or an image, if they are getting the product that I believe in so much.
The best performing ad for a well-known supplement brand was one that it was a static image that used text that was mentioned in a comment in their Facebook group. They have a Facebook group with over, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people in it. And some of them commented using the phrase for the product. And they used that phrase that they never came up with. And it was the best performing ad for I don't know how long. So the bottom line is dig deeper into what your customers are saying. Ask your customers first, get their feedback, not only to what they are saying, but how they are saying it. Well, yes. And that will go a long way.
Absolutely.
Last question I have for you. Do you have any book that you like and you would love to share it with the audience?
Yes. So one book that I read, especially once venturing into this world of skincare, that I loved and it was very eye-opening was Glossy. It's by Marisa Meltzer, and it's the story of Glossier, which is a very well-known brand. But their story and how it started and how it grew was just so eye-opening. And it reinforced that part of not being stuck and always changing and improving. Now you see them as this huge brand with their own retail spaces and all of these humongous launches, and they're giants. They are fantastic, but they had trouble with products. They had things that weren't well received all the time that they had to change, so that they had to pivot. So just reading the story of a brand that I know what they are now and what they went through and how it all evolved while always staying true to themselves was just very, very inspiring and very reassuring as well.
Amazing. Corina, it was a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. Before you go, I wanted to ask you, where can people go to learn more about you and Pipa?
Yeah, of course. So our website is pipastics.com, and we are Pipa_skincare. Pipa is PIPA on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we can also be found on Amazon, like we talked about.
Amazing. Well, if you're listening to this or watching this, first, thank you. And second, if you go to the DTCinsider.com, find the episode, you will see all the show notes, including the link to the book and the website and social media accounts. Corina, again, it was a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
This episode was brought to you by BSR Digital. We help DTC brands grow through paid ads and email marketing campaigns. If you'd like us to help your business grow, head on over to bsrdigital.com and schedule a call with us.